Yo, I gotta do this commentary. Actually, let me get my foot down. I gotta sit professionally for this. Start over. You going?
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, okay, I have to commentate on this. Tobe Nwigwe has released a new single called Bravo. And honestly, it has left me very sad.
Oh no!
I have been a supporter of Tobe Nwigwe for a long time.
The sun is starting to catch on your cheeks and make you look like your pigmentation.
What's up, guys?
Missing.
My name is Mike.
Oh my gosh.
The sun is starting to shine in your face in a not a flattering way. Do you want to see your forehead wrinkles?
Bro. So it's a typical rags to riches story. Bro, dropping N-bombs left and right. Now N-bomb sounds kind of weird, but like every song leading up to this, you didn't even drop it. Like you did in your older songs, and then you stopped because you realized that you were catering to a wider audience of individuals than just, adults. You're also catering to children. Like you want your children to be able to say every word in your songs. Well, all of a sudden, you drop this song where you're dropping the N-bomb over and over again, and then right afterwards, you're like, voice of God, every word I speak, feel the Spirit breathing. And that bothered me. Because it was in this point in the song where I realized that you haven't actually delivered a spiritual message in any of your songs for the past, I don't know how long. And I don't even think you delivered the gospel in any of your songs up to that point either. So you drop the N-bomb and then immediately say, yo, I'm the voice of God. It's like it's I would say that's quite literally using God's name in vain. Like worse than just saying, oh, gosh dang, like dropping, God's name is a cuss word, which is technically not a sin in and of itself. That's the conventional usage of using God's name in vain that Christians like to say. Oh, you can't say, oh my gosh, like you can't say that because that's the sin. That's not the actual sin that's referring to. It's saying that you can't go around saying God told you something that he didn't. You can't go around saying, God is like something that he isn't. You can't say, oh, I'm going to go kill your so-and-so because God told me to. That's using God's name in vain, and that's the sin. And the issue here is Tobe, who has an audience of children, which common theme here, offending children, offending little ones is kind of, I don't know why that's not being revered. That's not being revered in modern society in the same way anymore, is it?
Like people don't care about children, bro.
Think about the children for real, guys.
Like for real.
But
y'all traumatized self. What's wrong with you? Right. Trying to do to the next generation what happened to you. No.
Right. Because I is getting passionate about this as well, because I am just as... And so I'm going to go to the one part of the song that is like, oh, it's the most catchy part or whatever, right?
You can see me linking. Shh, be quiet, a real nigga speaking. Voice of God, every word I jot, feel the Spirit breathing. Best new waters, but the way I cook, very seasoned.
And it all sounds clean, and it all sounds cool. And it wouldn't bother me if you weren't intentionally keeping your music clean up until that point, for the most part, so children could listen to it. Tobe Nwigwe, when he came out a couple of years ago, he was what I would say a largely Christian hip hop artist, catering to the, I guess, projects, came up from the slums, West Side market, where he's like, I came from the West, and I have, I used, literally he says it in every song. We have guns, we use them to protect our families, And, but we rock with God, and God is the one that's helping us to get out of, the struggle. We have going from rags to riches, etc. He says that in every single song. He spoke it into existence. Great job. You got it. All right. But how you going to walk with God? And then along that journey, you decide, you know what? I'm going to actually make sure that my children can enjoy my music. They actually don't have to worry about ungodly language in my music. And then so you drop songs like Try Jesus, don't try me. Try Jesus. That one blows up. You drop songs like Tabernacle, right? You drop songs like Make It Home. You drop songs like Make It Home. Okay, we're going to heaven, all right? It's like, cool. But then along the way, well, once you get all the rags and riches and stuff, rags to riches story, then all of a sudden, you go right back to where you were in the beginning, dropping N-bombs everywhere. And this time, just because you want to, braggadociously. Oh, I didn't even get to the other part of the song where he says, okay, quote, and sorry, this is offensive, this is why I'm addressing it. He says, then I put semen all up in my queen and yell out, bravo. That I'm like, bro, that's graphic. There are children listening to this. Why'd you put such a graphic image in a song where you have children listening to your music? Nobody wants to listen to porn, much less to children. And so now you're like, oh, what's semen? Now we gotta answer that question, or just turn that junk off. Put a disclaimer at the beginning of the video or something, because that's completely inappropriate, and it's out of touch from your origins in a way to where I'm sad to say, I'm getting the feeling that another one of our favorite artists, even in the Christian hip hop community, have, I don't want to say fallen off, but they're contributing to the misrepresentation of God's true character in such a way that we actually have to do something about it.
Be not conformed to the ways of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Facts. And so this is not something that...
We are the salt of the earth. If the salt loses its flavor, how do you season it?
Facts. And it's so, you don't, just go through all the way down the Sermon on the Mount. Like, come on. There is no... If you don't make a distinction... Here's the thing.
We are sheep, not goats.
I also listen to J. Cole. So where's my point here, right? J. Cole established himself as an artist that was not targeted towards children. Then he established himself as not a Christian hip-hop artist, but a hip-hop artist that has some morals. He didn't say, oh, I'm a Christian. He just says, hey, I'm an artist. Occasionally I read the Bible, and I'm just trying to make sure I do right by people and keep it real. I don't have all the answers. I haven't figured anything out. I don't claim to be anything that I'm not. But this is where I am, and I'm sorry to use the finger, that's... but this is where I am, and this is how I plan on pushing myself as a brand. All right? I'm not trying to push a negative message on your kids. In fact, positive messages are the bulk of my message. But I'm not being secretive and trying to gut punch you with an F-bomb and B-bombs and stuff. He actually addresses it in his own music. He's like, back to a better me, before I started calling bees so heavily, or says it in his lyrics. He's aware, okay, I know I'm starting to cuss more in my music, but that's just how it is for me. I'm sorry if you don't like me cussing, I cuss, okay? It's a part of who I am. He's up front with it. So, okay, So his music is 18 years old plus music. Cool. So when you go and listen to it, you actually feel like you're listening to a real person that's not pushing an agenda, and they're not. You can listen to it knowing that that's the same artist you're going to get throughout. And if he makes changes, you know that he's going to let you know what those changes are up front. All right? He's going to be like, "Hey, we're going to like we call it like the off season, right? I'm putting in his work. He's letting you know what his steps are and what his plans are throughout the creation process, throughout what he's putting out. So he never claimed to be anything like voice of God. He said he'll make claims like, "I'd probably go to hell and Jesus asked for a feature." That's a hard bar in his niche because he doesn't consider himself to be the voice of God. He considers himself to be just a person that's walking this earth, and he hasn't gotten everything about God figured out yet. Which, pray for J. Cole too. But Tobe nwigwe has already said in every single one of his songs, bro, hey, love my family. I got my squad that I came from. I grew up from crumbs. And I love God, and I'm trying to, do what he says, be his representative. You don't claim to be God's representative and then misrepresent God. And then you don't claim to represent God in front of children and then display ungodliness in front of children. And that's exactly what Tobe nwigwe did. And that's the exact opposite of what we as Christians are supposed to do.
Yeah.
And so that's the only reason I'm bothered at all by this most recent single, Bravo. Like, yeah, literally, unfortunately, it leads to a very facetious Bravo. Like, you just lost your whole core of your brand. Like, congratulations, you found success, and now you can do whatever you want. You know?
Yeah, it's tough.
So anyway, what's crazy is I am a very limited culture bubble that I expose myself to on a regular basis. I only listen to a select few artists. I only watch a select few content creators. I only have a select few genres that I expose myself to. I only have a few cultures that I allow to penetrate my mindset. I only have a select number of influences that I allow to influence myself. So the fact that my limited window of how I'm able to perceive the culture, not just in real life, like in person with other people, but also the media culture, the small window through which I'm able to even see anything is already showing signs of tainted, agenda pushing, I guess,
bones.
Right, there's those, how do I phrase this? Because
Say it.
the fact that the little bit of the wide body of media that I have been exposed to is already showing signs of losing touch with holy morals and ideals originating from God and tapping into more satanic origins and worldly standards is saying a lot about the state of humanity as a whole. I don't have a favorite artist right now because no artist that I know of is able to fully embody no artist that I know of is able to fully embody God's character or not fully embody, but no artist is able to honestly, to the extent to which they are able to represent Christ, representing Christ with their lifestyle, with their music, with their visuals, with their messages, with their standards. Okay? Like even Christian hip hop music videos, they got women wearing half naked attire. They got guns and stuff, and I'm like, all right, that's cool. But like,
where are you showing godliness?
Where are you showing the godliness, right? And I mean, I would say Bizzle's the closest thing to that right now, which I'm, got Dayton. Dayton's one of those. KB's up there. I'm running out. Like when NF started saying, "Oh God," in his songs, I was like, "Why'd you put that there? That's gonna offend people." Now that's not technically wrong. Saying "Oh God" doesn't. The Bible doesn't specifically say you can't say "Oh God." It says you can't use God's name in vain, which is exactly what tobe nwigwe did. But the fact that that people say like "Oh God" is offensive to people, why would you put that in your music? It didn't even contribute to the song. It's just just a catchy thing to say in the hook. Why did you do it? That's a separate critique. So I'm praying for tobe nwigwe. I'm praying for NF. I'm praying for all of my favorite artists because they say don't spew hatred about your leaders in your countries. Instead, pray for them. Because if you pray for your leaders, maybe they'll have a change of heart and actually lead the country in the right direction. Every king in the Bible was given a chance to change. Everyone. Some of them chose not to. Some of them chose to. But even the most wicked kings became devout followers of Christ, and even the most devout followers of Christ fell to the world. So there's always a chance to turn things around. Don't get me wrong. God's army is still growing. Don't get me wrong. God's plans are still working. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's still saved. But there's a lot of people that are going to have a lot of unnecessary pain as a result of people being completely insensitive
to the babies.
To the babes. To the little ones. In the name of creative freedom. Come on. All right. That's all.
Peace.
Love y'all. Y'all take care. Stay blessed. Peace.